everyone. Welcome to the LTG show. This is episode number 217. My name is Sean Wilburn,
And I'm Tony Hannity's.
and this is a show where we are going to talk about technology of the week. This is the show for the, as I was about to say, hang on, I was saying before the show. Tony knows. All right. Anyway, this is the podcast for the website lazytechguys.com. We invite you to go visit our website, please, anytime. www.lazytechguys.com. It's a great place to find out news, information, video game news, tech news, and more. Also, if you'd like to reach us, you can call us at area code 707-722-5299, or you can email us at comments@lazytechguys.com. Also, this is a live broadcast that we record Tuesday nights, 11 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. And Tony, you've been very adamant about me specifying what time zone. We just didn't want people hanging out year-round, apparently.
All day.
It'd be great. Anyway, so Pacific Standard Time, we invite you to come join us. The Q&A is open, and with that, you can participate, ask us questions. We love to hear from you and hear your opinions about any of the topics that we are discussing. Now, without further ado, Tony, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well, man. Awesome thing happened to me last week. I was on a conference call with my day job, and they sprung some news to me. I'm being moved full time. So I'll be
bro.
Thank you. So I'll be working a lot more with the team and my reps, and this basically just means I'm going to be double dutying everything and a lot more responsibilities, which is good because I definitely embrace the responsibility. I feel like I can take it on. Second to that, my pick of the week is actually this time a game, and it's available on both iOS and Android. It's absolutely free. And Sean, I think you would enjoy this. You might have heard this if you watch some other tech shows, but it's called Crossy Road, and it's not the greatest name, but were you ever a fan of Frogger?
Of course.
Okay. You'll love this game then. This is like Frogger with an 8-bit kind of, feeling, but it has a, 3D kind of view to it, and a few other things like I can't even like demo the game and talk about it, but I don't know. It's just beautifully designed. It's very simple. It's a very good one-handed game, which is important to me. And one nice thing about it is that even if you're in the middle of your level and you exit out of the app, once you go back into the app, it continues where you left off, so you don't have to restart the whole level. And in the same kind of Angry Bird fashion, you want to, not Angry Bird, Flappy Bird fashion, you want to try to have the high score and get across the street as many times as possible. And my high score right now is like 181 or something like that. And I didn't think I would ever get that. I couldn't get past 90 about 2 or 3 days ago. But yeah, so I challenge you out there. Go download that game, and hopefully you'll have fun with it. But we also...
What's it called again?
Crossy Road. It's free, and I forget the developer, but it shouldn't cost you any money. And there are some in-app purchases, but one nice thing that you'll like, Sean, is you're not forced to buy in order to continue playing, so you just can play till your heart's content until your eyes hurt.
Wow, they actually straight took Frogger, which by the way is already like 8-bit.
8-bit, right? Yeah.
Yeah. When you said that, I was like, wait, what? Frogger, bro. Anyway, so and then.
But it's more 3D-ish, yeah. And
it's isometric. For anyone who knows the video game terminology, it's an isometric view, slightly more of a 80
skewed.
Degrees, maybe
Yeah.
75 degrees rather. All right, yeah.
Instead of top-down, right.
All right, well, all right. What's this? Wait, what's this? Hey, what?
Can you please elaborate on what
Anyway,
this...
No. Just go. How about this? Anyone who goes downloads one of the reviews, the 1-star review, I just read that. It's on the app, and I just read that. I was like, oh, well, that's interesting.
Well, in other good news, we have a special guest tonight. For those that are watching, this is awesome. But for those of you that are listening, you're missing out. This is Wolfie. Say hi, Wolfie.
What's this?
He's a doggy. Say hi.
Is that like a terrier or something? Or?
No, this is a Yorkie.
Yorkie, I don't know. There's some kind of something. It's here.
Hello. Yeah,
He didn't.
so
I'm happy. He didn't bark. He's just sitting there looking at you like, what are you doing, bro? What are you
he's
doing?
an old guy. No, when I work at night, I have him sit next to me because he gets lonely because everybody else upstairs is asleep and he's still awake and
Oh
he
yeah.
wants company. So he's
Oh
gonna be
yeah.
here. And if he has anything he wants to add to the podcast, he'll probably bark or raise his hand. And believe me, if he says anything of any sort, I'll just be amazed.
I'll
Like,
say,
well, actually, Tony, I think this about the situation. Like, holy crap, the dog talks.
Wolfie, we love your opinion on your other topics here.
Yes, we do. How
And
are
the
you,
first,
Sean?
I'm doing all right, man. Hanging out, just chilling, working on more music, getting a lot of stuff done, and I'm the only thing I know I'm dreading is jury duty. I know that's creeping up on me. In February, I know it's going to hit because I pushed it off. So I'm just thinking like I'm going to enjoy my life, enjoy time as much as I can up till February. Oh, did you hear February 27th, new House of Cards?
I know.
Ooh, I'm
I,
excited.
I know you weren't so keen on the second season, but I'm
No, 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 dude. I have no problem with the second season. No,
okay. All right. I
no, no,
thought
no,
you
no,
I
no.
thought you did.
No, no, no. Me and my girlfriend, we started it and we watched the first one. We got so hooked. We went through the second one, just enjoying it down to the last one, to the point where we're like saying, "Man, it sucks that they ended it already." When season three. Anyway, awesome. All right, anyway, we got topics to talk about. Let's talk. Let's get since we talked about politics a minute ago. I guess we can talk about politics. Let's talk about our friendly neighborhood president of the United States, President Obama, and his little law covering data hacking and privacy for students. Tony, take it away.
Yeah. So in the last couple of years, as if you follow technology news, one of the big things of 2014 were data hacks and just a bunch of big companies that are customer facing or just enterprise facing, being hacked by the likes of hacker groups and hacktivists. And sometimes banks and other organizations are hacked, and we, the public, don't necessarily know about it until it's kind of too late for us to really do anything. And so, what the president is issuing is not so much a law, but it's a suggestion, I guess, wherein that he's saying that he wants to have this act go into place, which is called the Personal Data Notification and Protection Act, which would demand a single national standard requiring companies to inform their customers within 30 days of discovering that their data has been hacked. So if you take a company, for example, like Target or Home Depot, they were hacked, but the general American public didn't know about the hack until later on. And for those people that were affected by that, were like, oh well, I went to Home Depot like 3 months ago. Now I'm just being told about it. I need to go back and look at my bank statements. And what Obama and is trying to get is basically a nationwide standard. Well, I said that already. Wherein that every company, as long as you're in the United States, every company would be required to report any hacks. Now there are, just like anything, there is a good side and a bad side to this. The good side is there's a standard, and this is going to be, if this does get passed, because it's Obama's a Democrat, the House is basically all Republican, majority Republican, so it's going to be kind of hard pushing stuff like this through. But the good thing is, we, the American public, would be notified a lot quicker and sooner about these sorts of things, so we can take into our own hands and be a little bit more responsible about, our passwords or our credit card information and things like that. The bad thing is, and some other technical security analysts are saying, well, if you say this is happening to Target and the hack is out there, and the company hasn't actually figured out a fix for the hack, but day 30 is happening right now, and we don't have a fix, well, then that just makes everybody that much more vulnerable. It's more in their minds, it's more feasible to say, okay, this company has been hacked. That's crap. It sucks. but let's get this fixed, and then we'll tell people about it. So this is kind of in line to a certain degree of what Google did to Microsoft last week, where Google found a security flaw or there's some sort of vulnerability in Windows 8.1. They gave Microsoft 90 days to fix the flaw, and Microsoft, for whatever reason, didn't fix the flaw within that 90-day period. And because they didn't, Google published the flaw to everybody and anyone who want to look at it. And Microsoft was basically saying, don't do that. Like, we're trying to work on it, but we have other things that we have to take into account. And Google said, no, we gave you 90 days. That's plenty of time for you to fix it. So now if we were to have that kind of mentality and that same standard all across the board being driven by the American government, is that a good thing, Sean, or is that just going to make more frantic kind of changes? And sometimes those changes, when they're made on the fly within 30 days, don't really help because they're just, let's just push this patch out. Oh, that patch didn't work. Let's push another patch to fix the patch.
Oh, yeah. Let me happily answer this question. The answer to this question is all the companies who are more scrambling, all that, get over yourself. The whole point of this is the thing that is being affected here is customer information, customer data, customer stuff. And to sit there and say, hey, we know that all these customers who we've made tons of money on and is our livelihood is affected here, but we want to make sure we protect ourselves and all that stuff. At one point, you kind of have to say, all right, you got to make the security better. You got to improve it. You got to do more. I honestly think the law is fine. I have no problem with people being notified within 30 days. 30 days is quite a bit of time. Within 30 days, if they're being hacked and they're still being hacked and they can't get in, they can't figure this out, they need to get help. And maybe by telling the public and them being embarrassed, they'll say, all right, we'll get the appropriate help. Oh, we'll get the appropriate money. Or we'll get we won't get the cheap engineer who'll get it done in a little bit of time to save us a little bit of money and help us on our bottom line. We'll get the expensive guy to fix this, to solve this problem so it won't happen again. I think I have no problem with this. It should not take 3 months to notify somebody that their information is being affected. Because remember, if the businesses are being affected, their reputation's on the line. But at the same time, the customer's data is directly affected, and that's a livelihood hit. Like customers' social security, sometimes their credit card numbers, private information that matters is what's being affected. Who cares if they're getting a little mud in their face for a little bit? If they're having that many problems with a service, with their credit card services, maybe they should go to a different company. Maybe the company they're working with isn't doing it right. Did they cheapen out? Did the company that they're working with cheapen out on their security? People have to get up and play better, do better jobs. And I feel that this will force people to do right. And honestly, I don't think this is going to affect that many people overall. I honestly think this is probably going to affect a smaller amount of businesses. I think most businesses do report within 30 days and have no problem doing this. So I'm not even sure how many this gets affected, just overall, just so you know. But anyway.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's a state-mandated kind of. Yeah. It differs state by state. So I think in California, within California we do 30 days. But in other states where something like this, a privacy control and concern of this nature isn't at the forefront of their dockets and importance, it might be like, oh yeah, we'll get to it when we get to it. So if this were to come down through the pipe from the Capitol Hill, for example, then they would have to. That wasn't the only thing that Obama talked about. He also proposed another act called the Student Data Privacy Act, and this is interesting. It basically says that if you're going to be using a particular online service or internet-connected software for students in schools and things like that, their information is private. Like it cannot be resold for profit or any other means gaining any kind of monetary value. And I mean, we say this, and it's like, well, yeah, that's kind of obvious, right? But it's not, I mean, at first glance, a lot of us would say, well, that's Google's, for example. I'm not trying to beat Google down, but that's Google's business. I mean, their business is give you free stuff but make money on the back end through ads and other means of trying to monetize their services. And having Obama say this, not just to Google, obviously, but other education softwares that are out there, again, it's a good thing, in my opinion, because it does make it, if this were to be mandated, it does make it a stringent kind of rule where I'm sure there's going to be a much more long-winded law or act that's written out, but there should never be a reason to resell a 12-year-old's information to this other company where they can store it and use the metadata for something else. There's no reason. This is why, for example, when you sign up for YouTube or you sign up for Google Gmail or you sign up for Microsoft Live.com email, legally you have to be I think 13 years old or something like that. I mean, Facebook, you have to be at least 13 years old, but we all know there's everybody by the age of 7 that are using these services. And going back to Google, this was a pledge in essence. So a bunch of companies signed the pledge. I think Microsoft signed the pledge, and a few other well-known companies signed the pledge of this Privacy Act for students. Google did not. And the first reaction that a lot of people had was, oh my God, see, there you go. There's Google going at it and trying to make money off of everybody. The reason why Google did not sign the pledge is because they pretty much have their own pledge already in the privacy policies dictated in the Google for Education website. In the privacy policy, it basically says that Google has not and will not and shall not offer ads for Google Apps for education services. There are exceptional circumstances where information can be shared. I'm sure there's some sort of lawful circumstance, like if somebody is writing in Google Docs a very troubling essay about the family he just killed last night, that might ring some bells. Like, okay, well, this is we're not sure if this is a creative writing story or not, but maybe we should red flag this or something. I don't know how in depth that they would go into looking at each individual file, of course, but they could. But that's why Google's not doing it, because they already have their privacy policy set. So you can take the pitchfork out of Google's back for this one. So as long as they stick to their word on that, I'm fine with that. But I think this is also, like I said before, I think this is a good move too. What do you think, Sean?
Thumbs up. Seems good. And I like it. Solid. Makes sense. Hey, I want to add something real quick to it, go along with exactly what we're talking about. I guess just got announced about 2-3 hours ago on The Verge, Obama to push for cheaper, speedier broadband in the United States. So currently tomorrow, which is as you're listening to this, will be today. Cedar Falls, Iowa, in his 6th State of the Union address, he is going to make a proposal or he's going to outline an executive action. And pretty much what he is doing is he's working to, or he's going to file a letter with the FCC to have them end the restrictions in 19 states that are holding back broadband advances. What he used as an example is Internet City. He used a diagram saying places like Seoul, Hong Kong, Tokyo, and Paris, they have gigabit internet. They have the full 1,000, everything that you're going to get. And places like Cedar Falls, Iowa, Kansas City, Missouri, and Chattanooga, Tennessee, they also have this. But they don't have it in places like Los Angeles, New York, Washington, D.C.
Right, because the infrastructure is harder, though, because it's a bigger city.
Well, and they're saying things like San Francisco, he's saying 200 is the limit there. Now, what he is proposing is supposedly whatever it is that's slowing down the process of this being fixed and being upgraded, they're going to remove it. So if it's a law, if it's some kind of rule, some kind of regulation, whatever it is that's causing them to say, all right, we know there's a lot of people here, but why can't we do this faster? What can we not slow? Whatever is slowing it down, he's proposing something that's going to make this happen, and it's going to get proposed tomorrow. So if you're listening, keep your eyes open, and we might talk about it. If it's something pretty of meaty, then we'll probably bring it up next week and just say, all right, this is what he's bringing up and this is what they're proposing. But I just want to give you guys a heads up. sounds pretty good too.
Yeah, one of the research projects back in England, British Telecom did. I forget the name of the gentleman, but he basically created a network using standard phone line, and he was able to get gigabits, theoretically gigabit speed over regular copper phone line. And so
Hmm.
obviously that is in a lab. It's not real world tested, but it proves that with existing infrastructure, it can be upgraded. And the question is, are companies like the ones here in the United States with all the fighting and monopoly and excuses that they've been giving the American public, are they going to upgrade the existing, or are they just going to try to move forward and lay down more pipe of fiber, fiber optic, and say, oh well, now that we have fiber, you have to pay us more because of yada yada yada. So yeah, I second what Sean just said. It'll be interesting to see what actually happens, and maybe we will actually get this going in the next 10 years. 'Cause I don't see this happening anytime soon.
Well, if not, just get some insurance, it'll be fine. So get some Google
All right.
insurance. Heard they got us hooked up, man.
Yeah,
Get that
Google
hooked up.
can hook you up on car insurance. Well, soon. Google.
I can't believe it. All right, well,
But I mean, if you
why
think about
not,
it,
right?
yeah, why not? Google can compare and contrast everything else. Why not car insurance? So this isn't live yet. This is kind of a leaked document, and I'll do a screen share here so y'all can see what we're talking about.
Y'all.
Y'all.
Mhm.
I'm from not the South. Okay, so as you can see here, this is a screenshot of of what they call uh, Google Compare Auto Insurance Services. That's a great name.
Insurance live. Insurance live.
GCAIS. Isn't
Insurance
there
live.
AIS insurance already? GCAIS. I can hear the ads already. So in essence, kind of like Progressive. That's the name, right? Yeah, you go to progressive.com, you say, I have this car, I want this kind of insurance, what you got? And Progressive will say, well, you can go with Progressive, or you can go with some of the other competitors that we have listed here as well, too. Well, instead of going to Progressive, why not use the front page of the internet, because apparently Google is the front page for many people, and you can just use Google to do some comparing, contrasting between different auto services. So right now, we're not exactly sure which auto services are going to be signing up for this deal. I would assume that Google would get some sort of referral kickback, of some sort, obviously. But I know they've done other things in the past where you can compare flight prices and things like that. So this makes complete sense for Google to make this move. I just don't know if people are going to actually jump on top of this, or if they're just going to continue using the norm and going to a specific website. Because there are some times where I need particular information and I know I can just Google it, but because the information is a little bit more specific, and I know a website that I trust, I'll just go to the website. So if you trust Allstate, or if you trust AARP, or if you trust whatever, you would probably just go there. Whereas Google, now we know that Google is very ad driven, and who's to say that if you use this car auto insurance service, that Google won't promote one over the other because one is paying Google more for the referral. Um, in any event, it's licensed to sell insurance in 26 states. It's authorized to sell policies in at least one state on behalf of 6 insurers, including MetLife and Viking Insurance of Wisconsin. And we'll see if this actually comes to pass.
Dude, pretty soon you go to Google, whatever you want to buy will be there. You know what? Can I get an ice cream sundae? Google will take care of it for you. They will go to Amazon. They will charge your card. They will get it sent out, get the drone sent to your front door, and 3 minutes later, an ice cream sundae will be waiting for you.
That doesn't sound too bad, actually, when you put it into that perspective. I'm down for an ice cream sundae on demand, Like if I've got the extra $10, including delivery, like Yeah, I'll do an ice cream sundae at 2 o'clock in the morning. Why the heck not?
So it's funny. So I wouldn't be surprised if they expand this. Like if this is successful, what if they start going to like pizza delivery? You really go to Google, you pizza delivery. Why go to the Domino's app when I know Domino's will of course want you to go to their app so they
Right,
can
right,
use their
right.
ads, but
Their app isn't too bad either. By the way, if you haven't
yeah,
tried it.
their web browser isn't either. The
No, I like it. It's got the pizza tracker, dude.
as
That
you
thing's
see, we
awesome.
have all eaten pizza from them. It's actually pretty good. Anyway, but I wouldn't be surprised if they expanded out today. But anyway,
No, I wouldn't. I mean, Google from a services standpoint, they have Google Shopping Express, which I think now is just called Google Express, and they go to different retailers where you can buy from Target and Walgreens, and they have the delivery person go out to these stores for you, and for a nominal fee, they'll pick everything up for you, and then drop it off at your doorstep. So it's not too far to say, oh well, and by the way, they can also pick up a pizza pie for you, maybe possibly your laundry if you can verify that they're picking up your stuff, not some other random person's stuff as well too. So
awesome.
yeah.
All right, dude, the modular phones, Project Aria. That's been something we talked about in the past, and I heard, is there been some advances on it? Are we getting to the point where we're about to see this stuff really happen, or where are we at
Dude,
with
I've been a big proponent of Project Aura for a while because I like the whole Lego kind of phone block esque
it? Mm-hmm.
idea that you can, in essence, build your phone at your own volition. So, again, for those who don't know, Project Aura was originally a Motorola project, but after the sale of Motorola to Lenovo, Google was able to keep the team that developed this, and they have a few prototypes already, and I think one company has already made like two or three that developers can buy. Probably more expensive than a normal phone at this point. But the issue that people have come up with is, the whole idea is that you can use your phone and then hot swap something. So you have an 8 megapixel camera, but you need to take a picture of the beautiful sunset. You can hot swap the camera for a 25 megapixel lens, and that sounds great. But in all reality, hot swapping things, sometimes it needs configuration. So Project Aura now will have a dedicated app for managing modulars. And with the new MDK that was released yesterday, it just makes it that much more open to developers to take use of this modular that is being marketed by, what's the guy's name? Two Toasters. Two of them, not one, two. So Two Toasters have this R
Really, two
manager.
toasters. Really called two toasters.
Hey, that's the development team, man. They can
Okay,
call
finish it.
themselves.
When you said two toasters, I'm like, okay, I don't know what you're saying. Obviously, you made a mistake, and you're just saying that as just saying, oh, I'm just making up a word. But let me get back. I was like, wait, it really are called two toasters? Okay, never
They're
mind.
called Two Toasters.
All right, let's do it.
Hey, man, we work with someone that owns a company called Two Pole, so
There you go. Two
it's all
poles.
about two.
I know I
It's all
haven't
about
said
the
that.
twos.
Two poles. Two
Two
poles.
poles.
I would not stop doing that.
So let me just read this here. An Aura Manager app will also be introduced to facilitate user interactions with modules on the device. The Aura Manager app will allow users to get detailed information on all the modules currently attached to the device and swap them by commanding the electropermanent magnets in the endo to release. The Aura Manager app and require modular interface will be provided in a future MDK, which is a modular development kit. Yeah, so the second iteration of this MDK came out yesterday. This is being developed, so maybe in the version 3.0 or 2.5, we'll see this app in actual use. But it makes sense. I mean, there are apps now that can tell you about your battery life. It can tell you about how much RAM your apps are using and things like that. So if you're into all of that, then you'll be very much into this, because this is already a niche product. I can't imagine the everyday person would want to swap out all these things. I mean, maybe they would. I mean, we've had customization on phones before. If you remember the old Nokia candy bar style phones, people were getting huge LED lights on the front, on the back, clear plastic, this and yada yada yada. And the big thing in the Asian countries is the whole keychain dangling from it. But this one is on a more on a more software side and software and hardware side. So I'm still very excited to see what is going to come out of this development team. I don't think there's going to be an actual. This is my kind of prediction for 2015. I don't think we're going to see an actual consumer-facing product. We might see a developer product that people can actually buy at Google I/O, but not a consumer-facing product. Not until like maybe next year.
I was gonna say not yet, at least.
Not yet, at least. Yeah.
Just not break our hearts yet, man. You're getting. I was like getting all excited here, and I'm like, I'm loving this. And...
I'm not trying to break hearts, man.
No. Okay. Cool. Well, let's go ahead and take a break here. Just go ahead and break everybody's momentum. There we go. Haha. Go ahead and break the momentum here. We're gonna take a quick break here. Thank our sponsor. Then after that, we're gonna talk a little Microsoft, a little Apple, a little Forza, a little Monster suing people. It's a little interesting stuff. Beats is involved. It's quite a bit of stuff. So anyway, we're going to take a quick break here. We're going to thank our sponsor. And one of the greatest things is, Tony, I actually listen to the radio a lot, just so you know. I actually listen to a lot of KMBR. And when I do, I listen to a lot of ads, and I hear a lot of different things. I hear people talk about, oh, this service does that, this service does that. And a lot of times I actually hear it, and I'm thinking to myself, like, you obviously do not use that product at all. And you could tell it's like, oh, I'm a person selling this product. And in the case for this one here, the one I'm talking about, which is Audible, I actually like this product. This is actually a really good product, and that's the reason why we kind of stick with it and the reason why we like it. So we're offering you a 30-day trial of it. I know you hear it everywhere. We want you to try it with us simply because it helps us out. At the same time, it is a nice benefit. You get a free thing in the deal, which is a free book, and it's quite a cool service. So it's like a book club for, well, books. Yet these books are read to you by professionals, and this allows us to really take in books in our busy lifestyles. Many of us are, commuting. Some of us are taking a lot of time just doing things around the house or just busy running around, or maybe you like to work out. So sometimes it's good to actually listen to a book and just listen to a good story while you're working out or when you're sitting back and relaxing. So Audible is a great service that allows you to do so. Being part of the book club actually nets you free books every month and many other things. So audibletrial.com/lazy. Remember that URL, audibletrial.com/lazy. It is quite a stellar service. I stand by very much. They have over 150,000 books there, so you find something you'll be into. And they're read by professionals. There's just great stories all around. So audibletrial.com/lazy. Definitely use that. Sign up. Check it out. You will have fun. It's a lot of fun. So it's a cool service, so please do so. And I'd like to thank them for being a sponsor. All right. Dude. I heard Microsoft is into Spartans. They're releasing another Halo game this year and next year, and apparently they got another Spartan that is about to, well, possibly storm the show or storm something.
Yeah, so the codename Spartan is another browser that Microsoft is cooking up in the next step of Windows 10. So before we move on, I do work for Microsoft. These are not official. Anything I say is my own opinion and is not reflected on the stance that Microsoft has of these, and I will not be reporting on any specific, like not rumors, but any specific information that I know. I've under the NDA, but the Spartan browser is not internet. From what Mary Jo Foley's.
Wait, you sure? Because my first thought was, what is this, Internet Explorer 10 or something?
No, so, well, first of all, we're up to 11 with Internet Explorer.
Oh, I apologize.
Yeah, you better. Know your Internet Explorer version, John.
The first thing people do when they do is like go to their browsers, they go to Internet Explorer, they go to type in, they look for Google Chrome download.
Yeah. Anecdotally, why is that? I mean,
it's just what people do. And you know what? I've seen everybody do it. Everyone goes straight.
You know what? You know what? I've done the same thing. I use Internet Explorer for certain things because when you are browsing, when you're using the universal search with Windows 8.1, the default browser is Internet Explorer. But you can set Google Chrome to be your default browser, and it's actually kind of cool. But in any event, I really I really use Chrome more at home because of all the extensions that Chrome offers, and Internet Explorer at this moment does not. And Windows is definitely seeing that being a drawback to their well, not Windows, but Microsoft is seeing that be kind of a drawback to their you know to their market share when it comes to browsers. So Spartan, which is using it uses the Trident rendering engine and the Chakra JavaScript engine, which is part of Internet Explorer. So it's not just another IE release, and it's going to be a little bit more lightweight, like browsers like Chrome and Firefox. And it's kind of weird that we see Chrome to be lightweight because and I think maybe it's just a Windows thing, but on Mac it is lightweight, but on Windows it's kind of heavy. You go to one web page and then you do the whole Control-Alt-Delete and you look at your task manager and all of a sudden you've got like 20 Chrome things running in the background. Like I just opened up one browser, one tab. Why is all these things? So I don't know. Maybe that's a Windows thing. But even with that being said, allegedly this will work with, like I said, some extensions. But some of the other things that they were talking about is more integration with Cortana. We know Cortana is going to be a huge part of Windows 10, and exactly how that's going to work, we're not quite sure. But maybe you could say certain things like, Cortana, go to Facebook, and it'll just take you to Facebook. Whether you want to talk to your computer or not, that's very Star Trek-esque. I kind of think that's kind of cool. I know my son, he's 10 years old. He does that all the time with the phone, so for his age group, that's not going to be anything weird for them. That's just going to be the thing to do. As well as something called digital inking support. So what this means is that you would be able to, assuming that you have a touch screen, you would be able to on the screen like circle things and then like
get them tattooed on your body in no time.
No.
Digital inking. I was like, wow, look at that's pretty awesome, bro.
Yeah, so it's kind of weird that they would do that because, well, I guess one thing I really like about the Pro 3 is that with the pen you can double click. So if you're in the browser, you can double click, and it takes a screenshot of whatever you're looking at, and then it takes that screenshot, puts it into a new OneNote note, and then you can annotate on that note and then share that note with all of your annotations and everything. So this would be something very similar to that, but within the browser itself. And it can also be stored to your OneDrive, and then you could share that photo or whatever it is through your OneDrive links and things like that. So we're going to be hearing a lot more about this on the 21st of January, so within about a week or so, and that's going to be an event held in Redmond up in Washington. So I'm very excited to see like what this really means. And talking about that, the day after this event, they're going to be opening up the Build Developer Conference registration. So if you're a Windows developer or if you consider developing for Windows and you're not quite sure, on the 21st, watch the event for Windows 10, and then on the 22nd, if you're into it, if we've got your buy-in, so to speak, then go ahead and try and register, and hopefully get your foot in the water, being some of the first developers for Windows 10. I can just kind of move over into the Windows 10 for Windows Phone if you want.
Go right ahead.
So another thing that we've speculated that is going to be announced at the Windows 10 event is the next step for Windows Phone. Is it going to be Windows Phone 10, or how is it going to work? What's going on with RT? We still don't know, but what we do know is that currently if you are Windows Phone 8.1 owner and user, you could right now download the Phone Insider application through the Windows Phone Store. What this does for you is absolutely nothing, but it's a precursor to possibly I guess a download version of the next mobile operating system for preview. So just like right now there's a technical preview for Windows 10, so sometime soon there should be a consumer preview for Windows 10 on desktops and laptops. Mm-hmm. And with this Phone Insider app, that might be the way that you would download the preview for Windows Phone. So I'm excited to see like how all this is going to work out, because again, Windows 10 is meant to have all these separate operating systems in essence, all these platforms, phone and tablet and desktop and Xbox, built on the same kernel. They're not all going to look the same. I mean, I think we've all kind of agreed that having everything look the same isn't the best way to go, but they're all going to be built off the same kernel. What that means is that developers, it's going to be easier for developers to create applications that are universal across all platforms. So you can create a Netflix app, and with a few changes in your lines of code, it'll work on a tablet, and then really quickly it'll work on the Xbox. And some cool features that you've added for the tablet will also migrate over to the Xbox One. So yeah, I think we're definitely going to hear a lot more about that in the next week or so. But keep your fingers crossed for a lot of the rumors that we've heard, because I'm really hoping personally that the fact that Microsoft open source .NET, that a lot of developers that left .NET because they moved over to Java for Android and whatever iOS runs on. Now you can write a .NET app and it will work for Android, Windows Phone, and iOS, and I guess BlackBerry if you want to run a BlackBerry app as well too. That's awesome. So I don't know if they're going to be talking about that too much on the 21st event. That's more of a developer-y kind of thing, so they'll probably wait for that to go into depth about that at Build in April, the end of April, beginning of May. But yeah, we'll see.
Awesome. All right, are you into fast cars, bro?
I like fast cars.
Yeah.
I can't drive worth crap in these games. The best game that that I do very well in
Real
are
driving, right? Real
well,
driving.
yeah, that goes without
Yes.
saying.
Yeah.
I'm a boss on the road. You
Yeah, I
should see
figured
me.
as much.
But the best driving game that I have a lot of fun with, and I know it's not very realistic, is Need for Speed Underground. I think it's the whole Fast and Furious thing. It just kind of stuck with me, and like I'm never gonna do this in real life because I don't have the money to do these kind of things. But to be able to do it virtually and be pretty good at the game, hell, why not?
Yeah.
But Forza is an Xbox exclusive, and I think it was Forza 5 that came out last year. It won, best racing game, at least for BGR, and the next iteration for Forza obviously is Forza 6. And what?
I was wait, with what competition? Sorry.
Grind?
Yeah,
There's
exactly. Exactly.
no, there's grind. There's real racing. There's a lot of competition,
No, I
John.
mean real competition. I mean one's up to Forza's. I mean this is like a pro team versus the college teams.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah,
I'm just stating the fact.
I'm just saying that Forza.
The,
I
the
mean,
tonality of your voice was like you were
I was like,
attacking what I was
no,
saying.
no, not attacking with you. I'm just thinking like, wait, what? Why would they? I'm thinking like there wasn't that much competition. Forza was like it was light years above everything else that came out that year. That's like a I don't know. It's like a no-brainer to me. I'm like, sorry, not to you. That was more to Boy Genius, really.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, this is Forza Motorsport 6. Last year was Forza Horizon 2. And again, you could probably tell I don't know the different numerologies between these two, because I guess they're two different franchises within Forza, and I just don't know. But
I know it real fast. I can explain it. I
but
do.
no, it's fine. You don't have to explain it. It's fine. Because fast cars and they go vroom vroom. But what's going on right now is there's the North American International Auto Show in Detroit, and they unveiled a bunch of new cars. There's that new Ford that looks really cool. The new Acura NSX looks super sexy. But in Forza Motorsport 6, which is coming out later on this year, and which they're going to dive into more at E3 later on this year, they're going to exclusively have that for the Shelby GT 350 Mustang and the F-150 Raptor. So yeah, again, I suck at these more like real life racing games, but the cars look freaking awesome. So.
And if anyone's actually interested in Forza, you mean the video game, wanting to know about racing, the tracks, anything like that, they really revealed absolutely zero information except for the fact that this car is going to be in it. and we will know more at E3. So everyone, this is just a teaser. This is just something just to get you thinking about it, just to remind you that Forza 6 is coming, which also for all the Forza fans know this was going to happen anyway because they did last year was Forza Horizon. The year before that was Forza 5. The year before that was Forza Horizon. The year before that was Forza 4. So the fact that Forza 6 came out, I was like, no way. No way. Good job, guys. Anyway, still a good game. Amber Alert.
So just for those who don't, Sean's level of sarcasm is like
I'm being a
is
cynic.
always through the roof.
No, I'm definitely being sick because I'm just like, of course. Like when this got announced, my first reaction was like, yeah, and I was like, of course it did. And then I looked online, and everybody's reaction was like, of course, people were forced to say, yes, we're hoping, we're great, we're excited for it. Then people reacted to the trailer release was, great, no gameplay. What's the point of this trailer? All they did was show this Ford car and these close-ups, and I'm like, well, that great, that looks fantastic, but that's not the game. So, but they're showing an in-engine thing of a high-res car. Great. People who want to know about the game, they don't really, hopefully at E3 they'll start talking about the game. Day-night cycles, people really are interested in that. The amount of tracks that we get out of there is always a big one. The amount of cars, and most important of all, how are they going to do the microtransactions on this Forza? Forza 5 definitely got bashed big time for the amount of microtransactions they did and how they made it. Of course, the guys at Turn 10 were defending it and said, hey, everything is okay. But there were some changes to the microtransactions over the last year and a half. So some things have been changed, and we do want to know how is this going to be affected in the new Forza 6. So that's serious Forza talk. That's some serious things like that. Just I want to know the details, guys. Come on, don't just tease us. Give us the grids. Don't just hold back. Give us the good stuff. So, all right.
All right.
Now that I got my inner gaming stuff out, because now I'm like, let's talk some serious gaming, dude. All right. Facebook is introducing Amber Alerts. This is actually, something good for everybody and actually, you know what? I actually enjoy Amber Alerts because when I see them, I instantly start looking around saying, all right, take mental note. Got it. Remember that device. Remember that car. Remember that. Just thinking if I see it,
I don't think you mean you enjoy Amber
I
Alerts.
enjoy the fact that they're there. I enjoy the fact that they're available so that we could see it. But now
you
Facebook
would not enjoy. You appreciate.
I appreciate.
You appreciate.
Thank you. I appreciate the fact that they exist. Thank you, staff. Anyway, they're coming to Facebook, Tony. What's going on?
Yes, I mean you pretty much said it. Now Facebook is partnering with the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children to send Amber Alerts directly to your Facebook feed. So that should be starting like right now. And if you're looking in your Facebook feed, say, well, I don't see any Amber Alerts. That's a good thing. Okay, that's a good thing. Because the way that these Amber Alerts are going to work is that based off of your geographic location, certain users are going to get these Amber Alerts and some will not. So, for example, should there be a missing child in the likes of the San Francisco Bay Area, everybody on Facebook, on their phone, and on the web in the Bay Area are going to get this Amber Alert. And it's not necessarily an alert. That is a kind of a misnomer. It doesn't pop up in your notifications like an automatic push notification. Like I think it should, but the way it works right now is you actually have to open up Facebook. You have to proactively go to Facebook, not to look for the alert, but just to go to Facebook to like maybe look at different pictures and things like that. And within that feed, one of the top posts is going to be active Amber Alert, and it's going to have a picture of the missing child and some information about that child, and then you can click either learn more or share. And if you want to learn more, it'll give you as much information as they have. So the example that they gave here was this little girl. I don't know if she's actually missing or not, or hopefully not, but using this as an example, Mariah Lewis, it was issued for Mississippi, missing from this state. She's this age, this gender, this race, hair color, yada yada yada. The description of what she was wearing, and any other information that might help, like license plate numbers, car make and models. And at the bottom it says, you can call directly to the Mississippi Highway Patrol at 555 or whatever, or just call 911 if you see the child right ahead of you. Do not hesitate. Anyone having information should contact. And having this kind of built into Facebook is great, because there have been some times where, Sean, you and I have actually been talking, and then all of a sudden our phones are like buzzing.
Mm-hmm.
Even when your phone is on silent, it'll turn on the alarm ringer for specific alerts, whether they be like National Weather Service alerts or Amber alerts, and that is set by your carrier. Verizon does this, and I know AT&T does this, which is why Facebook says that they don't want to have a push notification, because you should, in your geographic location, you should already have a push notification from your carrier, and this would just be more supplemental to that, also visually as well too, so you can actually see the child that was abducted or whatever is going on. So you don't have to sign up for this. I don't think there's an opt-out for this. I would hope you wouldn't opt out for this. And really, the National Center for I'm going to mess up their name. The National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, they say roughly about 180 Amber Alerts go out every year. And, I mean, that's a good number in essence, I think, because it's not too big. I've been watching a lot of, FBI shows, and every other episode is a missing child, and there's an Amber Alert. I'm like, wow, how many children are missing and captured, and this sucks. But according to them, only about 100, under 200, so that's good. But whatever we can do to help out, if we do see something that's suspicious, maybe we wouldn't notice if this wasn't in our feed. Because, Sean, how many times have you gone to a store and they have a behind the register of the 7-Eleven or whatever, this person is wanted, or keep an eye out for this person. You look at it, you're like, oh, all right, kind of looks like a generic white dude or whatever race that person is with the beard. You look behind you, there's another guy with a beard. I don't know if that's you or not, and you just walk away. You don't really but to have this being kind of thrown onto you at different angles, so to speak, I think it's a good thing, because statistically finding the child within the first 24 hours is key. Statistically speaking.
I'm just happy the information is getting out there.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
All right. So, iPhone, Apple, iWatch. That thing is. It is the.
Ooh.
Oh God.
Ooh.
As soon as I said it, I was like, ooh, the Apple Watch.
You just.
Yes,
I was gonna say.
Apple Watch. I did not say iWatch. I said Apple Watch.
You made Steve Jobs roll in his grave, but I don't think he wanted to watch it anyway.
Apple Watch is getting the companion app is revealed. We're getting some features. What do we got? What do we know about the device now?
Okay, so Mark Gurman from 9 to 5 Mac, he gets all these leaks and beta builds all the time, and he's usually like 95% right about a lot of these things. I think there was one that he wasn't right about, which was the split screen capability on the iPad, but I'm sure Apple's still working on that. In any event, there's going to be I was going to say iWatch. There's going to be an Apple Watch iPhone companion app.
iWatch.
There's going to be a companion app which will allow you to manage your Apple Watch, which would allow you to turn off and on certain things. So you would be able to, set your notifications. You would be able to set, if you want monogram. Monogram is the ability to choose a 1 to 4 letter monogram to appear on the monogram. What does that say? Complication? That's not the right word. Of the color of the watch face. So I guess it's if you set a 3-letter word for Google, like GOO for example, that'll let you know that, I don't know, maybe they just acquired somebody or their stock went up or down or something like that. Also, you would be able to set your goals for health fitness. You would also be able to change the text a little bit. Going down a little bit more, they also have the layout of the watch. So if you're looking on screen here, this is a way for you to kind of manage how your Apple Watch is going to look on the face. Um, I'm still not a fan of these little icons, but again, I'm not a designer, developer. I'm just someone with a really strong opinion. It looks so ugly. But yeah, you would be able to change the layout of those icons, assumingly on your phone. Because if you think about it, if you want to change the layout of your icons of your Apple Watch and do that on the watch, it would be very difficult because it's already a small screen. Um, You'd be able to customize the home screen, which is that. You can change the clock functions. You can mirror your iPhone. I don't know how you would do that. Um, and then you can also turn off and on. Yeah, this makes
Hmm.
sense. There's an Android Wear app for Android Wear, and so there are a few things within that Android Wear app that you can change, like the watch face. You can turn off notifications for some apps and leave notifications for others open, things like that. So it was inevitable for this app to be, uh, I guess, discovered. And so the Apple Watch is still set to be announced, well, not announced, but launched sometime in like February or March, starting around 370, 359, I think, all the way up to 5,000.
All right. Cool. But not all thing is happy at Apple because apparently. All right, so I know just this reading this kind of makes me laugh, but I've read through this article. Okay, this is some serious stuff going down in this. You're gonna love this. All right, Monster. If anyone knows Monster, they're like Monster Cable. You know the people Monster. They are suing Beats for severing ties with them ahead of the Apple acquisition. Essentially saying that, well, I'll even read you the article. So I'm going to kind of read to you what this article is to explain to you what's going on. Because to get all the details in the timeline and have it all make sense, we're all gonna do this together. So everybody sit down. Get down, sit down. Here we go. All right, so and I'm going to sum up some of this, but I'm going to read some parts of this entire thing. So Monster Cable and everything, they're claiming that the founders Jimmy Irvine and Dr. Dre conspired to sever the headphones brands from Monster before agreeing to a $2 billion acquisition from Apple. Now, to understand what the complaint is, this is how it goes. The According to the complaint filed Tuesday in the court, Beats used a clause in a contract to sever their partnership in 2011 while retaining all rights to the technology. Now, had the partnership between Monster and Beats expired on its own terms, there would have been no transfer of Monster Beats by Dr. Dre product line, meaning that Monster would have kept Beats by Dre. And then and he's saying that they pretty much stole the line and stole in using their global distribution chain and key relationships and intellectual property. So they stole their distribution and the money they were going to make on that. They stole the line. They stole all their technology. Pretty much, they stole Beats from Monster, and that's what they're claiming. Monster says that they led the development behind the headphones in the first place. So it wasn't Dr. Dre. It was Monster saying we designed the headphones. This was our technology. And considering how Monster did make headphones, it's kind of easy to see that as very being true because they really do make headphones, and they're into that technology. Now, if you remember in 2011, HTC purchased Beats, 51% of Beats in 2011 for $300 million. Now, this investment allowed them a change of control to Dr. Dre and Irvine. So now they have control of the brand.
It's actually
Then
Ivan.
Ivan, thank you. Um, then they told Noel Lee, the person of Monster, the person who owner, Noel Lee, anyone who sold Monster Cable definitely knows that name. They said that they had to sell to HTC because they were broke. Well, HTC goes to Lee and says, "Well, we're not giving them any money. We're just giving them payments." So Lee, I guess, is thinking, well, wait, they didn't need the money. Well, they're just getting small chunks of it. They don't need the money up front. I thought they were broke. So now, even though now after this happened, The supposed change of control transaction was completed. Then something happened. They did something and was put in control that allowed Beats to acquire the Beats by Dre product line entirely. Essentially, they got control of the entire line and took it off from HTC. Like they bought it from like less than a year later, I hear. Yeah, they bought it from HTC less than a year later. So now Dr. Dre and Ivan have full control over the product line, and then they sell it to Apple for $3.2 billion. And Monster is claiming, wait, those are our headphones. We designed those. The only reason you did this, the only reason you have the line is because you told us you were broke, but you weren't broke because they told us you weren't broke. And they're pretty much saying it's a scam and that they just got screwed. Pretty interesting, huh?
Yeah, now with the myriad of lawyers in Apple's corner, it'll be interesting to see what's really going to happen. I think at the end of the day, this is going to be settled out of court. They're just going to, Monster's just going to get a crap load of money just to, put up and shut up. And they're just going to move on. Monster sells their own line of, like Sean alluded to, they sell their own line of headphones now. I don't know if they're doing any good in the market. Honestly, when Monster came out with their own headphones, this was just around the time that they were about to be bought by HTC. So it was kind of weird. I was like, are you cannibalizing your own business? And then HTC bought them. I was like, okay, that makes sense because now you're no longer a Monster brand. You're a Beats brand with HTC, blah, blah, blah. But yeah,
Okay, there's more. Okay.
Oh, great.
Part 2. Yes, this gets even shadier. Less than a year ahead of the acquisition, in September 2013, Monster founder Lee, known as Head Monster, no Lee, he agreed to sell his stake in Beats for $5.5 million. According to the Monster lawsuit, Paul Watcher, a member of the UC Board of Regents, as well as the Beats director and advisor, person who is still working at Beats, not working for Monster, and this was after they separated, told Lee that there were no liquidity events, financing, sales, or other financing deals on the horizon. And then less than a year later, they were bought by Apple for $3.2 billion. Yeah, exactly. I mean, this is definitely going to be a lawyer thing that gets settled up, but boy, oh boy, the way they're presenting, the way that Noli and their lawyers are presenting it, it definitely looks like they got pushed out, and the timeline does not help. I'm like, wow, 6 months beforehand, huh?
Well, at first glance, do you think Monster has a case?
At first glance, I would say this definitely gets a second look. Because here's the things I do know. I do know Monster did make headphones before they worked with Beats. I do remember when I saw Dry Day, I was like, why are they? Oh, now they're working with Dr. Dre. Oh, I guess they're just getting. That's what I was remember thinking. Like, oh, okay, great, they're just doing it. But I knew Monster was getting into headphones. I already knew that, and I just figured they're using Dr. Dre's name as like a name to put on the headphone line, and that is what they were doing. But,
in essence, yeah.
Yeah. But the HTC thing, I was like, well, I was wondering because when I saw they were pretty successful. People were buying their headphones, and for them to say they were broke, even I'm like, all right, well, I don't know how that happened, but all right, cool. And the HTC thing, I'm like, okay, great, okay, they're with them. Even I questioned that like 1,000 times. You remember me? I was just like, I don't understand exactly what's going on. Like, what are they gonna do? Put a little sticker on it? We're gonna put a little chip inside of it? Because I kept playing, what the heck do they mean by Beats? What is this supposed to do for an HTC phone? What is this getting me, And now, looking at this, I'm like, well, actually, this makes more sense than the entire story that was told the entire time this was happening. Yeah. Let's just say, let the lawyers duke it out. Let them figure it out. If Apple did not start negotiations within, like, if they only did it within 2 months, then Apple will have record of saying, no. We only started negotiations 2 months ago. Then that will help out their case. But if Apple started negotiations a year ago and they did this thing to null 6 months beforehand, that's not good. That's not good at all. So, yeah. What about you, man? What are you thinking about this?
I'm definitely in the same camp as you. When I first heard about this last week, I was at first I was thinking that Monster is just butthurt about the whole thing, but then I got a little bit more information as to how the whole change of control happened and how when they sold their shares to HTC that basically took the rights of being able to say, oh no, Monster develops this and Monster owns the patents behind this, and gave that to HTC. And then then Apple bought all the rest of the shares from HTC and I guess Monster, it just went with it. And
Mhm.
I know this is something that they've been working on for quite some time, because there's no way. I don't know how the acquisition got closed if this was working, or rather they were, thinking about all the legalities of them saying that this is a sham and everything. But it's gonna go to courts, and
You know, maybe they weren't thinking the Apple acquisition. Maybe if they did, if this turns out to be true, if the claim turns out to be true, they them getting away from Monster was just them to get control of it, and then after that, maybe they were just looking for buyers, and then they just caught the big fish, you know. And then when you get the 3.2 billion, or just like scores. The stock holding thing, that's a hard one. Like if that was just Noel's advisor telling him no, nothing's on the thing, and the guy did not work for Beats, and if that's true, then that's just a terrible advisor, and that guy should get fired. But if that guy worked for Beats, that means he knew things that were happening, and that means he would have given Noel false information, and that's an entirely different issue. Another part of it is I was think is well, yeah, this entire it's kind of up in the air. Like there could be different ways saying that no, this could be a very legit thing that they did, but I don't know. It just looks funky. And within 2 years, for all these transactions to happen, is the thing that's really not helping it look very good. So, but it's hard to say. But we'll see, right? We'll see how all this turns out.
we definitely will. I have one more thing that I want to talk about, and then we'll
Okay,
close up shop.
what do you got?
Last week, California broke ground on a $68 billion high-speed rail system.
Okay.
And they broke ground, I think it was somewhere like in the, mid-southern California, or like around Fresno, above Bakersfield. And the idea is that they're going to have a high-speed rail system, kind of like a bullet train, between San Francisco and Los Angeles, and will allow travelers to get from A to B within 3 hours. At first glance, that seems awesome. I could go visit my friends and family down there and take my daughter to Universal Studios for a few hours and then come back up here just in time for dinner. But I guess the reality, first of all, this isn't going to be finished until 2029, so we've got time. Second of all, though, there's a bunch of issues with it. People are lobbying against it because they're thinking that where are we getting the money for this? California isn't like, we've got a bunch of rich people living here, but as a state, we're not that rich. Third, there's a bunch of geological questions, but for what it's worth, they're continuing with it, and I think they had some money issues already, even after them breaking ground. But do you think that this is a good idea for long-term use, Sean, or should we just continue using Highway 5 and U.S. Airways or Southwest, I guess. I don't know.
One of the greatest things about humans is the fact that we've found ways of traveling and increasing our ability to travel. I mean, we started with walking, then we figure out wheels, then we figure out how to roll stuff, then we figure out how to make different things. At one point, we figure out how to motorize our cars. I mean, motorize our wheels. At one point, we figured out how to get up off the ground and soar in the air and get from point A to point B. We developed trains years ago to transfer large objects from point A to point B across the United States already, amongst many parts of the entire world. And anything that increases the amount of travel seems like something that we as humans are going to do no matter what. So, you know what? It's going to be a good idea. For everyone fighting it, it's going to happen. I cannot see it not happening. If they can run into enough public money problems, I assure you some rich financier in the private sector will pick it up and then finance it because they'll be able to make a profit on it. and then we could have a way of just really just getting from point A to point B. Anything that makes it faster for us to get to our loved ones who are farther away, we'll do so. And hey, you know what? Why not take a little train down to LA for a weekend and take a train back, or just for a day? Hey, let's go to Disneyland. Screw it, let's go. A couple hours later, we're there. Sounds like a great idea. Why not? Easier than going on a plane right now. Much faster than going on a plane right now. So I don't know. I'm a fan of it. I like the idea of it. Hope it. Like I said, if it doesn't go privately, it's gonna go. If it doesn't go publicly, it's gonna go privately. I just hope that we get the support and build more ways of communicating and getting around to other people. So yeah, I'm a fan. Oh yeah,
God,
and as far as the
2000.
geological part, yeah, wait,
I was gonna say 2029. What else are we gonna have by then?
hoverboards.
Yeah, why? Just in 10 years. Between 2007, when the iPhone came out, to now, our phones are just crazy, and we have all these amazing things. That's not even 10 years. So between now and 2029, I can't even think how old my son's gonna be and how old my daughter's gonna be. Math is terrible with me right now, but yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, any new innovation is going to be wrought with protest and people being scared about it and whatnot. So hopefully, as a community, as a society, we can somehow move past it, move with it, and work with it, but not just stay in the ways that we are just because we're comfortable.
But seriously, figure out the geological problems. That's serious, though. Seriously, do
Yeah,
that.
no, I agree. I agree
That's
with
no
that.
joke, though.
Yeah.
That concern is a real one. If the train is going over a lake, figure something out. Go around the lake, okay? Just do something, all right? Make sure you get all that figured out, and then build it. And then we will come. All right, so thank everybody. We'd like to thank everyone for hanging out with us. This was the LTG show. This was episode 217. Once again, my name was Sean, and
I'm Tony Hannity's.
that was Tony Hannity. So
Okay.
we would like to thank you guys for hanging out with us. So let me give you some contact information for us. First, you can email us at comments@lazytechguys.com, or you can give us a call at area code 707-722-5299. Now, we are also found on many social networks, including Facebook, Twitter, and Google+. If you look up Lazy Tech Guys, you will find us there. On YouTube, we are Lazy Tech TV. Please go ahead and subscribe to that also. We have many video game videos, as well as video reviews going up on that channel regularly. So please, we encourage you to check it out, have fun, and enjoy the channel. We also like to thank our sponsor, Audible.com. Please sign up with audibletrial.com/lazy. Genuinely a good service that I recommend that you check out. Now, with that, we'd like to thank you guys for hanging out. We'll be back next week with some more tech news, tech information, and more. And what was your dog's name again?
Wolfie.
Wolfie. Upon Real Wolfie, Tony. We're out. See you later.
Goodbye. Don't lick me.